Hello and welcome to part 4 of the Amplified tutorial series. Today we'll be going over creating a new blog. So basically, as you can see here on my desktop, I've already prepared a few things. So here's the blog that was written, and here's a photo that's going to be used. But we're going to pretend that that isn't there yet, and we're going to take it from the very top. I mentioned in the very first tutorial how Amplified works. In the second tutorial, sorry, how Amplified works and the steps that we'll be using to kind of gather the topics, write the blog after the research, and post the blog online for feedback. And finally submitting a proposal. Today we'll be going over most of those steps in kind of detail. So we start with gathering the topics. How do we gather the topics? So, excuse me, basically through, if you go to WSHS Amplified, we reviewed this topics page, and people can go here to submit the topics. So how do you look at this? So basically you have to go over to google.com and go over to the Amplified, log into the Amplified email, and go to Google Drive. When you go to Google Drive, you'll see a topics form, and head over to responses. Now we're going to go to individual, and we're going to go to the last three. So here we can see John Doe submitted. I think you guys should write about outdoor classrooms. They help students think better. Okay. 7. We would like to discuss the warning bell situation, please. Great. 8. Lunch kind of sucks for our bodies. We need healthier foods. Okay, so these are like the 3 topics that were submitted. Let's just say we only had 3. I'm not going to go over the other ones because they have real people's names, and we don't want to review anyone's names and what they think should change for confidentiality reasons. So I'll only be reviewing these 3. So let's say these are the 3 that we get. We'll get these, copy them, kind of confine them or compress them into one little small choice. So outdoor classrooms, and this one will be warning bell, and this one will be school lunches. So then we'll kind of put those out on Twitter and ask people what they think are the biggest issues at Woodbridge, or problems, or something that you think should be discussed among the community. Whichever one gets the most votes, that'll be the one that we choose, and the other ones will be set in line for the next blogs. So let's just say that this one gets chosen, about the outdoor classrooms. So now we've decided that we're going to write about the outdoor classrooms, and we're going to tell the public that we decided to write about the outdoor classrooms by posting on Twitter again, kind of a poll asking them, what do you think about outdoor classrooms? And then at the very end of the question we'll have hashtag new blog coming, or hashtag something like that along those lines, hinting that there will be a new blog coming out about this topic. That way we can inform the public that there's a new blog coming, and we can gather data at the exact same time. Gathering data, that brings us to our next point, research. So if you head over to Google Scholars, you can also ask your English teachers about sources and where you can find the good things. So if we head over here and just type in outdoor classrooms, you'll see there's a whole bunch of topics, a whole bunch of linking you to studies that have been verified, and here you can choose whether they include citations, all that stuff. So basically that's what you'll be doing for research, gathering research off of there. And that'll be external sources. So we've covered the first few steps, which is gathering the topics, and now we're going to do the research part. So sending out a few polls on Twitter, asking the community what they think, gathering research, external research from not within the community, so not on Twitter, but via websites, for example, Google Scholar, all that stuff. And then another research will be involving gathering quotes. So quotes from your community. So go up to teachers and go up to students and go up to administrators and ask them what they think. You need a quote from all 3 so we can get all perspectives in the blog. So that'll be the gathering the research part. Once the research is gathered, we're going to write the blog. In order to write the blog, you can start writing it in any text editor, but today we'll be using LibreOffice Writer, which is exactly like Word. So basically you have your Word document, you have your little title, a paragraph, like not a paragraph, a subtitle explaining what the blog is about, just giving a little bit of insight, and then you'll have your section. So this is how the blog is going to be laid out. First, you'll have the introduction, which is a very quick introduction, just kind of giving an overview on the topic, and then will come your external data. This is the data that you found on the websites, the external websites, not within the community or not on the Twitter polls. And then we'll have a Twitter poll, and then we'll have, you can either have the Twitter poll here, or you can have it inserted within the community spot that it corresponds with. So for example, if this is a students, teachers, and administrator views, if one of the blogs was, if one of the polls was directed towards one of those, you can put it in here. But if you don't, if the Twitter poll was just general, you can put it up there and have the quotes from each one of these admin, teachers, and students below each section that talks about that. And then at the very end, we'll have the closing, which will urge everyone to discuss the topic. And then towards the very bottom, we'll have our research. And this will be where you link all the sources. This will be basically your citations page where you list all the sources that you used and where you gathered your research, so that everything's valid. So now that we went over writing the blog, we're going to go ahead and publish the blog. Make sure you have a photo gathered, a photo that kind of has to do with your topic. So here, this one's students outdoors, and they're just walking along the sidewalk here. The best source to gather photos, actually the only one that we would like you to use, is unsplash.com, because the images here are royalty free and you don't have to pay to use them, and you can't get in trouble for using them. So basically you can just type in here anything you want that has to do with the topic, and we just typed in students, and here's one of the photos that came up. You just hit download, and I just saved that onto my desktop. So we don't need Google Drive anymore. Now you're going to head over to c9.io, and you're going to open the repo. We're going to give that a second to load. While that's loading, open up pixlr.com/editor, and so pixlr.com/editor, and this is where we'll be editing the image. Open image from your computer, and make sure you just go to your desktop and select the one that you need, or wherever you saved it, and let that open there. So here we go. Here's our files that are open, and we're all ready to edit. So keep in mind that we have already gathered our photo, we have already written the blog, and gathered all the research. So all that is done. Now we are just ready to exactly start editing the website and then publishing onto the website so we can see our changes. The way you do that is after you open this, you can get out of there now and just have the part where you're going to be editing, and then have your photo editor open. So the very first thing we're going to do is edit the image. Now the reason being is if you go to WSHS Amplified and click on one of the blogs, this image that's in the background, that's the one that we're going to be editing right now. We have to make sure that the image is small enough so it loads quickly, but not so small that the quality is degraded. Also, we want to be able to see this text here in front of our background image. A good way to do that is to put an overlay on this. So head over to this website, open the image, and you can do this easily by going over to the very first one is image size, and we can head over to our images here, and we can preview our images so we can kind of see them here, how they look. So there's your image, and this is where we store all the images. I'm going to head over really quickly to the local version of the website just so I can see how big the image is. Depending on whether it's for a blog or images that are inside the blog, the images usually tend to be a bit different sizes. So here we can kind of tell 1900, and I believe that they're all that width. There we go, 1280. That one's 1280. So you want to head over and make it 1280 pixels and leave constraint proportions on, and hit OK. Now the image is going to look small, but it's actually not small. And then you want to head over here and grab this gradient tool. Click on it, then come up here and click on this, and click on this one. It's the third one over. Black on one side and then transparent on the other. You want to click that and set the opacity to 50. Then you're going to take this little square here and drag it all the way over. That way we have a filter that's a little bit transparent, and you want to select the top of the photo and pull it all the way down to the bottom of the photo. There you go. Now you're going to hit File, Save, increase this to 85%. You can even type it if you can't really see the numbers there. And once you're done, hit OK. And then choose where to save it. I want to save it here, and I want to replace my old image. Image saved. So just to go over that really quickly, you're going to go to Image, Image Size, change the image to 1280. Don't worry about what the second number is. Just make sure this one's 1280. Hit OK. Then come over to the Gradient tool. Select the third one over. Change the opacity to 50. And slide this little square all the way over. Then select the image, drag down, and let go. And that will make your opacity image, put a little opacity over, filter over your image. Now you can leave this. You don't have to save it. This is the folder in which you'll be storing your images. So here you can see it says post background, and then it tells you what blog it's for. So you want to make sure that you rename your image that specific format. So it's going to be post background, and here we can see it's the 5th blog out, and we're going to head over and drag it into our post folder. So here we can see it's post. There we go. We've successfully added an image into our repository here, and that's here. Then we want to add the blog. The way you do that is you have to head over to underscore posts, and here we can see each one of the new blogs. So we're going to have to create a new file in here. New file. And you have to rename this file after the date. So 2017, and today's July 25th. So we're going to go like that, -6, 26, and then you're going to type in the title of the blog. So this can be almost anything. This doesn't really matter. This isn't going to determine what shows up on the screen, but it will determine your file name. So we'll just name it outdoor classrooms dot markdown. Now let's review this file name really quickly. The most important part is the date. Make sure you have a dash in between, so it's the year, the month, and then the day. And make sure you have a dash in between each one of those. And yes, the month has to be, if the month is in the single digits, you have to have a 0 before it. Then you want to do your title outdoor classrooms, and then the dot markdown. Make sure you have dot markdown or it won't recognize it as a markdown file. So here we can open up a post, and this little section here you're always going to copy and paste. So grab from the 3 dash lines, you're going to copy that, head over to your brand new post, and paste it. Now you can erase these things, the content that's in between the quotation marks. Leave the quotation marks there, leave the author, and we're going to change the image. So this is the header image, and it's going to look for it in this file here in the posts. As you can see, it says header image, image folder, post folder, and then it's going to choose it. So here's the image folder, here's the post folder, and then it's going to look for Abney. But we're changing ours to post -bg-05, and make sure it's .jpg. Remember, that's the file that we transferred over. If we want to open it just to take a look at it, it's the photo with the students walking across, the one that we moved in here earlier. Comments, we're always going to start out with false until we're ready to publish. The date is going to be the new date. You want to make sure that you have the new date, so it should be the exact same date that's on your file here, and then your title. So now we can head over to our blog, And we can just grab the stuff that we've been writing all this time and just paste it in here. So our title is going to be outdoors versus indoors. Here's our subtitle without the period. And we're going to paste our subtitle in there. Then we're going to save that, hitting Control S or File, Save. And now we're kind of ready to go. Now we're going to test this out. You want to exit out of both. And we're going to come down here to the terminal. Actually, first we're going to open up the website and then take a look at our new blog. You'll see that it's not there yet. The reason is because although you've edited here, you haven't updated github.com. So if we go over to GitHub and look at the files, you'll see that our posts, the new one that we've created, is not here. Nor is the image. The reason for that is because we haven't updated it. We have to send the updates. So the first thing you want to do is hit Get Status. By doing Get Status, you should see a couple red files. The red files are the ones that you've either added or edited. These two files here are the files that we both input that we both created. These are both files that we've created. So here we can see the outdoor markdown file and the image file that we've created and put in here. The first thing you want to do is git add, and the period stands for all. So you want to git add all the files that we've created or edited and hit enter. Then if you type in git status again, status, you'll see that those files have now been turned green. That means that they're ready to be committed. This is the way you commit files. You want to type in git commit -m, which stands for message, and the message is going to be added blog and photo. Hit enter. And then it'll tell you two files changed, create mode created this file, create mode again, and created the image file. The last thing you want to do is type git push. Once that's over, it'll tell you that it's pushed it to the GH pages. You can type in git clear for that now. No git clear, just clear. As you can see, we type clear, and it would just clear your terminal, so it doesn't look messy anymore. Now that that's done, the website has been updated. Now we see there's a new blog. Outdoors versus indoors. Going outside the box to think outside the box. And this is, click on it, and then we see our image in the background. Now you ask why it doesn't have any content. We haven't put any in there. The way you do that is you just click on the blog and go back and edit. Now we're just going to take a few of the things here. For example, the title, the blog, another title, another blog. Sorry, content, another content. So you can always click on another blog and use it as a template. For example, this one here. So we can see that it starts off with P tags or H2 tags, and it has something called section heading. So basically, all you're going to do is make header tags with H2. These are going to create your titles. I'll have a blog open so you can kind of see what it looks like. Here you can see these are the H2 titles, and these are the P tags. I'll quickly show you what that means. So you always want to make sure that this has a class name of section heading. Section heading, as you can see there. We'll simply name this introduction. Then, underneath that, we'll make a P tag. Type it exactly as you see it here. P, and then inside that, the last tag, these are called opening tags, and these are called a closing tag. The closing tag has a / before the P. In here, we'll head over to our blog, copy some text, and paste it in. If that happens, all you have to do is go to View and hit Wrap Lines. and your lines will be all maintained within the screen. Now I'm just going to copy this, paste it again, and here I'm going to write data. Now, in here I'm going to quickly insert just some quick data and research. So this is going to be all my research, and I'm going to be talking about what I found in the data. Now let's say we want to include a Twitter poll. I already have the code for it, but I'll show you quickly how to get the code. All you have to do is go over to Twitter, go to the poll that you want to insert, and click on it. When it pops up, all you're going to do is hit this little drop down arrow, click on embed tweet, copy this code that's here. Then you can get out of here, exit out of Twitter, and go back to editing. You're simply going to paste the code in there, the code that it gave you, and move on. So now we can head over again, copy this. We're going to create a new section. This one's going to be called Teachers. And we're going to cut it about in half. Copy it again. Name this one Students. We're going to name the last one Admin. Then at the very end, we're going to name sources. This last part is very important. We want to make sure that we include all the links to the sources that we've used. If we scroll down to the bottom of this section, we'll be able to see here how we're supposed to lay it out. You want to make sure actually that this is a P tag, as you saw in that last blog. And here we're going to do UL, hit enter twice, and then we're going to close the UL tag. Within that, you're going to hit tab once, then LI, then close the LI. Inside the LI, you want to do A tag. href is going to be equal to, close that, the two quotation marks in here, and then you want to close your A tag. It looks a bit complicated, but the code will be pasted in the comment section in the description below so you can use it. Then we're just going to simply duplicate that for as many as we have. And in where it says href is going to be equal to inside the quotation marks, whatever is inside the quote, that's what the link is going to link to. So you want to go ahead and put all your sources in here and create an LIA tag like this. Each line is going to be one source. So if you're using Wikipedia, right now I'm just typing these in, but make sure you copy them from the website that you got them from. Now, on the inside of the A tag, right after you finish typing that, in here you can type in, this was the Google site. This is what will be displayed on the screen, and this is what the link will be. So remember this, so when we go over to the blog you can see what I mean. That's in the wrong place. I'm going to give you a few examples just so you can see what I mean. Once the blog is done being written, all you have to do is the exact same things. Git add, git commit -m, quotes, open quotes and close quotes, and type blog. Enter. The last command is git push. Once that's done, we can head over to the website. and see that we have the blog again. And this usually takes a little bit to load, but here it is. The blogs usually take a second. I mean, the polls from Twitter usually take a second to load. Here it is. We have teachers, students, administration, and at the very end we have our sources. Here you can see this was the Google site, and this is exactly what I typed in here at the very bottom. This is the Google site. So you can type in whatever you want and have the user click on it. The link will direct them to what you typed in here. The benefits of this is if you have a website where you got your statistics from, you can just put statistics, if I can spell. Statistics. Then the user will see statistics here, and they can just click on it. That was how to write a blog from start to finish. We'll catch you in the next tutorial.